Good morning. Welcome to Presence of Light with charlierivermanbergeron. It's a joy once again to be here with you on this Friday morning here in the United States, and welcome to all of you from around the world. It's raining here again. Fortunately, we've not had any local flooding, so the amounts of rain haven't been extensive, but the amounts of days of rain with very few sunshiny days in between is just unbelievable. I don't think I've ever witnessed this before. So a lot of changes are going on. And speaking of water, we have the full moon of Scorpio, which is a water sign. And so it seems like water is really taking a forefront in my journey. I was born in Pisces, so I'm a water sign as well. So welcome, good morning, Margaret, Carrie. Margaret says, good day, folks. Thanks for coming out. It's a joy to be out here with and to be seen and heard. It's been part of my journey to do this, and thankfully Humanity Healing has offered me this beautiful little slot to communicate with each of you as we journey through this amazing time of human existence. So as I arose this morning, as I tell people, I don't prepare my shows. I wake up in the morning and I allow the information to flow, and I tap into it, and then it presents itself. I'm basically just the voice of the message. And it's, many people say, well, are you channeling somebody? Or it's part of who I am. So I'm channeling a higher part of myself in cooperation with other spirit beings, galactic guides, multi-dimensional guides. And what I try to express to people is that each one of you have the ability to do this. It isn't something that is just unique to me or unique to a few people who you see posting daily, all of these things. Each one of us are really so connected to so many sources of wisdom, sources of love, sources of guidance, that it's hard to pinpoint one or the other and say this one is the only one. And what it teaches us as we do that is that we are part of this whole, that this is the wholeness, this is the unity from which we have separated into physical form to be here in the third dimension. So with that said, it's called the flow. The flow, thank you. Flow is a very important word today, and you'll hear me say it. And really it's about, this flow that we're in is really, what I would say is the banks of the river have risen to contain us now. We're not going to spill out over the sides unless we choose to be arrogant and go out of step out of the flow. Okay? And as humans, we've been arrogant forever. This is nothing new. And so this is what this full moon is really asking us to do. It wants to bring us into a deeper relationship with our truth and our original blueprint. And I say that often, and I do a water blessing. I have my beautiful bottle of water that I do here. It's contained in this beautiful blue fish. And I hold it and bless it daily, and it's in an altar. And then I release it to the waters with prayers to return those waters to their original blueprint. I don't know what that is. I don't have to know, and nor do you. What we have to do is hold in our hearts an image of originality, an image of a beginning, and seek to find our way back to that source, the source of the river, the source of the water flow, the source of the flow. And as long as we continue on that journey, we will be guided and we will be safely led. It's when we step outside of that. And the only reason we step outside is because we've been programmed. We've been programmed by our illusions. We've created stories, we've created illusions, and we've been programmed by them. And as you can look around the world today, this is the result of listening to the illusions. This is the result of listening to the storytellers who were all speaking about themselves, who are all wanting it all about them. And so we're now finding it difficult to find the truth in this. We know that we can recognize the falsity, and we're becoming greater at recognizing the falsity. But where is the truth? The truth is within each one of us. So again, everybody's saying good morning from Egypt as well. Blessings to you in Egypt. Blessings to you around the world. So I started off and I just want to take a moment to clear the waters in our physical self first. By offering a prayer that I do out the waters, and its intention is to clear the water back to its original blueprint. And in this process of clearing and cleaning, its intention is to speak to each water molecule within our body, within our physical structure, and honor it, and honor water as the life-giving source of all life forms as we know them. There are many life forms that we don't recognize as life forms, yet still exist. But the ones who are containing water, this is important now for us to recognize the importance of water in all of our life and to seek to clean and clear that back to its original blueprint. I do this as a council member of Loving Waters, and we encourage other people around the world to go to your water, your local water, your watershed or your river or your backyard pond, and offer blessings on the full moon and honor it and know that that water in that pond is the water that's within you. There's no separation in any of it. And that this is why it's important now for us to protect and to be adamant about the cleanliness and the clarity of our environment. So with that said, I'm going to hold this bottle for you. And I just want you to close your eyes as I say this. And it's said in Maori, and it's a blessing, and it's what's called the 4 Pillars Protocol. And its intention is to return every molecule of the water in your body, in your physicality, back to its original blueprint, so that as we move into this full moon, we can begin again, brand new. Take a deep breath, exhale, feel the water in your breath. Tihe moriora, ite ingoa, te whaia, te tama, te matua, te wairua tapu. Ite ingoa, te matua, te whaia, te tama, te wairua tapu. Ite ingoa, te tama, te matua, te whaia, te wairua tapu. Know that the water within you has now been cleaned and now seeking water elsewhere to pass on that blessing. Just as we gather here in many of these talk shows and gather to unify and connect with each other, so too the water molecules are now seeking to connect with other water molecules and embrace their livingness and make it clearer and cleaner. So part of this morning as I thought about this was what's going on in the world and how each of us are trying to learn how to speak our truth and trying to learn who the truth of who we are. Okay, and it's really, as somebody said earlier, the flow, it's really the cosmic river of life that we're flowing in. And it flows, and we, as a result, flowed forth from that cosmic river of life. And we're always seeking a reunion with our source. And this is the cycle that we go through in this physical body. Everything we do is really secondary to that. And we need to place that thought of seeking reunion with our source over all of our disturbing thoughts, all the disturbing thoughts that may arise. And we all have them. None of us are immune to disturbing thoughts. None of us are immune to fear. Our life, the things that have happened in our lives, have created within us this amazing field of negativity, but it's really based on illusions. And so we need to dive deeper into the reality of ourselves and let go of the illusions that are outside of us, knowing that we are fully empowered to do this and that we live here on this beautiful planet of abundance, and we are destroying it, literally destroying it, and blindly listening to people who encourage us to do that. And we know it's wrong, and we know it's an error, and we know we're destroying ourselves. And it's time for us to wake up to that truth and say, no more. I can't do this anymore. I have to honor this planet we call Mother Earth. And we have to ground with her heart if we're going to really move forward in our evolutionary process. So these are the messages that came to me this morning. And I wrote, follow the water to her heart. Reconnect to the rhythms of her breathing. Deepen your ability to listen and hear her songs. There is no fear within her embrace. And as those words came through me, I looked and I thought about it and I said, how beautiful it is to think about Mother Earth as sort of a planetary womb where you can go back into her womb and listen to that heartbeat, that flowing of the blood in our mother's bodies and physical mother's bodies, and know that there was no fear there. We were safe. We were real. We didn't understand where we were or what was happening, but we knew we were okay. That's what I want you to think about. Find those places where you feel okay. And they're going to be earth places. And to allow yourself to surrender your fears and surrender your negative thoughts back to the heart of Mother Earth. She's large enough and more willing to receive them than you can imagine. And it's not harming her to do this. This is a part of her belovedness as a creator being. So over the next few days, think about your fears. What are your fears? And Write them down. I always recommend writing things down because then you can go back and look at them. If you just mentally report them, we push them away and we cover them with other stuff. But just take a little notepad. Make sure it's private. You don't want other people to read your stuff. And when the fears come up, write them down. Don't try to deal with them or whatever. Just say, okay, I'm feeling fearful, and put a label to it. And then if you want to, you can make it like a scorecard, and you can put check marks or little lines next to it as to how many times these fears keep reoccurring, and every time you put another check mark next to it. So you're going to keep score of your fears and how many are the same fear over and over again in a different form, but it's basically the same fear. I'm not going to tell you what they are. You decide for yourselves, but look at your fears. And then begin to recognize over a time period, it could be 3 days, 4 days, a week, a month, whatever you want. Recognize there's a pattern. There's always a pattern. If you look at the river when it's flowing, there's always patterns in that river. And that's the energy that flows. And because of what the river has been through in its evolutionary process, there are distinct patterns that keep reoccurring. They're fractals. They keep reoccurring until we decide to do something about them. First, we begin to predict them. We can recognize, okay, here's something I'm going to be fearful. I'm going to go into fear about this. So we learn more about who we are and how we're relating to the world around us through fear. And acknowledge that and honor that. It's a perfectly normal part of our beingness. But we don't have to allow it to be the rule and guide of our lives. This is the important key. And just like the cycles of the moon, we can predict them. We can say, okay, certain times of, my hormonal life, I can feel it coming and I'm going to be fearful. And then we can start to react differently. We can choose from the higher self level to say, okay, no, I'm not going to do that today. And we can start to become the rulers of our lives once again and begin to understand that our thoughts are, similar in so many ways, that each one of us, none of us are different. We're not thinking any more crazier thoughts than the other or more fearful thoughts than the other. Every human being on this planet is going through this. They just hide it. They hold it in. They don't want to face it. They don't want to deal with it. It's uncomfortable. If we hold it in long enough, it creates dis-ease. I don't look at disease as something bad. It's not being at ease on some level. So it can be physical, it can be emotional. But if we write them down and start to look at them and start to look and say, wait a minute, I don't need to do that anymore. We begin to say it's like choosing something different to eat. Why am I eating chocolates? Why am I eating 40 pounds of chocolate a week? I don't have to do this anymore. So why am I going to fear about something? I don't have to do this anymore. That happened to me, or that happened repeatedly for so long and for so many years ago. It's not happening now, but I'm attaching it to all of these other things that are bringing it up. Let's begin to bring stuff up and say goodbye. Say adios. This is where Mother Earth wants to help us. Mother Earth wants you to embrace her and to connect with her at a deeper level of understanding and release them to her. Find a place in your yard or in a park near you if you live in a big city, somewhere where you can recognize nature, the birds singing, trees, plants, flowers, the natural flow of life. Around water is perfect because the water will carry it away. And just sit in the ground or take your shoes off and go barefoot, lean up against a tree. I know many of us don't want to be obviously hugging trees. We have this self-consciousness that says, oh, you can't do that, you look stupid. Unfortunately, I look stupid a lot. I love to embrace trees. I love to embrace the earth. And every time I do, I think about those things that have been bothering me. And I say, Mother Earth, I offer these to you. I know you have the capacity to love me and make everything disappear. That you have always loved me. And then realize that most of our fears come from points in our lives where we didn't feel loved. Doesn't matter what was done. I know there's some heinous things that are done to people in this world, myself included. Those were the moments where we felt a deep disconnection with love. That's the energetic blueprint that we are going to correct. And we have to correct and need to correct if we're going to move forward and evolve as this beautiful species of being here on this beautiful species of planet and become one again. The words I wrote were, it is time to move on. It is time to listen within. And that's because most of our energetic recordings are just being replayed over and over again. And they're all about self-loathing and lack of empowerment. We're beautiful. We're amazing. But we keep listening to those fears. And so this Scorpio moon is really about releasing. This is how I'm seeing it. And I pulled some cards this morning, and one was this beautiful card here. And this is a black hole. See that sort of blue jet stream down the bottom? That's a picture of a black hole, and that's a stream of energy. Doesn't look like a black hole, does it? The affirmation, the card was really referring to voices. As we think about our guides, they can be voices. As I sat in quiet meditation, I hear a deep voice within. That's the deep voice you want to listen to, the one within. It's you at a higher level. Nothing can come through you without you. So at some higher level of your beingness, you've said yes. There's a TV show, Yes to the Dress. my guides, yes to the dress. Yes to me. This is what we want to honor. Yes to me. Yes to the I am. Yes to the I. Without anything afterwards. I. That column of light that we are. And the affirmations for that were, as I surrender to where all things are known and understood, I invite the universe to speak to me. I welcome thoughts of my Creator as it speaks to me clearly. I am aware of its silent presence, and I respond to its voice as I listen with my heart. So this is where we're listening from now. We need to shift, not from here. You know the three monkeys, see no evil, hear no, speak no evil. Keep the heart open. And you can cover your eyes, you can do it. Listen and see through your heart. Another card I pulled was a Kuan Yin card. There we go. Many hands of the goddess. That's how much help we have. See all those arms of Kuan Yin? Each one of them is reaching out to embrace us, to let us know that we are loved, to let us know that we are beautiful, divine creators. And we're here on this planet to co-create together and move through all of this despair, all of this desolation, all of this insanity we created through our lack of listening or listening to people who wanted to steal our energy and use it for their own gain and purpose. And it doesn't have to be a rebellion. It's just a coming back into that heart space. And feel all those arms of Kuan Yin hugging you. The mother energy, the divine feminine energy, embracing you in the womb of Mother Earth and saying, welcome home. Welcome home, my beautiful child. My beautiful part of me. So the goddess Kuan Yin brings blessings to multiple projects and many different parts of your life and consciousness. She is not limited to one task at a time. Do not be afraid to surrender into her guiding wisdom and creative genius, for there is much that you can accomplish together, and she wants to assist you. We're not alone. We're never alone. We're only alone when we choose to be. The next card before I do a closing prayer is from Kalia's Soul Inspirations message cards. And the message was, fully being in your truth is embracing your purest energy and carrying it forward in all that you do. So again, this is what the Scorpio moon is asking us to do, is stand in our truth, to release all its faults, to release all its negative, and not embracing us as the full, beautiful beings we are. It's powerful energy. And as I close, I wrote this prayer, or I don't know what you call it, but it's a deepening, a reconnection, and an honoring. And so in this, I want you to insert your own name and say this, follow along with it mentally from your hearts. On this full moon, I, and you repeat your name, gratefully embrace all that I am. I surrender to my highest aspect of self, to guide and encourage me. Trusting with my whole heart that in this releasing of false thought and fears, I will open the gateways and all closed doors within this physical house not built with hands. I allow all the programming which has been held deep within the marrow of my bones to be liquefied and flow into Mother Earth for transmutation and my release from bondage. I now enter into my most powerfully activated selfhood to continue my evolutionary enlightenment without any fear or judgment from myself or others. I now openly activate all strands of DNA that are coming online to empower my full manifestation of truth and heart with the divine energies of peace, light, and love. I thank my highest self, my highest multidimensional self, all guides of peace, light, and love from the multiverse and the many evolutionary energies which are now assisting all of humanity to release the past and embrace the new. And as we come to a close, I love you, I thank you, I respect you. I am you, you are me, and we are unity. May the blessings of this Scorpio moon clean and clear all that no longer resonates with the true and beautiful self that you really are. Until next week, enjoy the energies and know that you're not alone going through this. There's millions of us going through this at the same time. And the best action for all of us is to help each other, to extend our hands, to hug each other, to embrace each other with those beautiful messages that come through us. The world needs to hear your voice. With that, I'm complete. I love you. I will post that closing prayer on that on here. And have a great week. I love you. Bye-bye.